Yay! Hi, everyone. I'm Reverend Deborah Gay, and it's my joy to be your host today for this service. Reverend Kathy Ann is with the second year class of the practitioner students, and they are getting ready to complete their practitioner training process. So they are together up at Rainbow Retreat, and so we know wonderful things are happening for them, and we will soon have a new graduating class. So in the meantime, we are very lucky. We have a fantastic special speaker. Marc Anthony Lord is in the house. Welcome, Marc Anthony. I know many of us saw him last year and went to his workshop last year, and you've got a good experience ahead. For those of us that have been in first service, we got a preview. So I want to tell you why some of us are wearing these funny-looking shirts. We are launching CBEC today. CBEC is our summer camp in August. We know it's February, but we're bringing August back, and we've got some sunshine out there. So this is what you do at summer camp. You color and create a shirt. So if you see one you like, tell them, gee, how creative you are in creating that shirt. More on CBEC later. But for those of you that have smartphones, this is a great time to bring them out. Say, hi, I'm here at CSL. Come join me or watch us online. Because the choir's here and Marc Anthony Lord's going to blow your socks off. And if you are new to us, I want to just show you there's these welcome bags in the lobby. They're these navy bags. They're full of all kinds of information to help you understand who we are, give background on our beliefs and our structure. And also in it is a connection card that looks like this. They're also in the offering baskets. So if you want to, you feel like, hey, I want to know more about this place, give us your contact information. One thing we do with it is midweek, we send out an email spiritual practice that we all do together. So it's like being in virtual community in the midweek. And then we might also send you things like traffic alerts, or there's going to be a marathon changing your route to CSL, things that will be helpful for you to know to get here on a Sunday. And another thing we do, which I just think is such a beautiful piece of honoring each one of us, is we honor birthdays. So if you had a birthday last week or coming up this week, stand and we will give you a gift. Good year to you all. So now it's time for us to go inside, to connect with that inner presence within each of us. It's a time for reflection, for prayer, and for knowing that love connects each one of us to the whole.
Continuing in prayer, let us quiet the mind as much as we can. Just relax the mind. Put all the activities of the day aside and just ease into a quiet space. It is that space where we feel the most presence of spirit, allowing that still small voice to ease into our awareness with inspiration, ideas, and experiences. So let's take the next few moments just to sit in silence with the Source. And coming back, knowing that The source is that close. Keep that in mind as you go through the day's activities. And take a time now and then to listen. And so it is.
It is my pleasure to tell you a little bit about Marc Anthony Lord, for those of you who haven't had the joy of sharing a service with him. He's certainly a visionary and a transformational leader. He is an internationally recognized author, teacher, and founded the Bodhi Spiritual Center, which is a Science of Mind center in Chicago. So he is a very gifted communicator. As you will find out, he uses humor and personal stories and current events, all to help us be able to ask deep questions of ourselves about our own transformation journey. So there is a healing process that is his personal mission, to assist people in to build self-love, to build acceptance, to know and experience a deeply personal God, greater than any situation or any problem. So Marc Anthony has been through a very big personal transition this year. He left Bodhi in Chicago and has moved to Los Angeles. And he'll tell you more about what he's currently doing, but he's working on a global Pride Summit that will happen this summer. So in this shift for him, he felt a stirring to create something to heal the shame, the fear of intimacy, a sense of unworthiness, particularly in the LGBTQ world, but within each of us. So through his journey, he has found a life now of greater freedom, of greater joy, and he wants to help us discover that for ourselves and live from positive power. And so his topic today is on forgiveness, which he calls the direct path to love. So let's surround him this day in the love of this community and embrace him with our welcome, Marc Anthony.
Good morning. Oh, what a joy to be here. Thank you so much, Seattle Center for Spiritual Living. You're very blessed to have a wonderful minister like Reverend Kathy Ann, one of the best in the movement by far. So good for you, good creationing on your part for manifesting that. I'm honored to stand up here where she normally stands. It's a blessing. So I want to tell you a story just to get to know me, and it's just kind of silly, but it's true. My dog has since passed away, but he was ill a couple months prior, and I wanted to find out what was going on for him and how I could help him. And I know someone who's a very, very well-renowned dog psychic, or animal psychic. And so I called and I said, can I please do a session with you? I'd not done this before, but I wanted to try anything. And she said, I'm booked for months, but because it's you, I'll do it this coming Friday, which I was very grateful for. It was a Monday. So Friday comes, and I do this session, $150 for a half hour, but it was worth it, and I got to talk with my dog and got all this great information. And then I get an email with the bill, and the bill says $250. And I thought, oh, this isn't right. So I emailed them back, and I say, it's $150. I only did half an hour, to which they respond that my dog contacted them twice between Monday and Friday. I'm not kidding. So I said, you're going to have to talk to Brick to pay that. And then my sister sent me an email the next day saying, Brick called me. That'll cost you $100. Oh, so fun. So I was raised Catholic. That was fun. Not so much. That's okay. It's not meant to be fun. It's a solemn, humble path for many. For me, though, it started out very early as a confusing path. because I would walk in to the church and they had the cross there every Sunday. And I'm talking, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. And they have the kind of cross where they left Jesus on the cross. They didn't take him off it. They left him on there and he's bleeding and he's in great pain and his head is laying to the side. And I would look at that and it just felt like he was saying to me, "You did this to me." That's what it felt like. It felt like I was responsible for something. It's really confusing because it happened a long time ago before I got here. So the little childlike mind, it's hard to conceive of that, but it's quite an imprint. And for me, only for me, it ended up equaling that I did something wrong or that I am wrong. And I got the message that I had to be good in order to get love and to be okay. I had to be different than who I was. So I quickly learned how to keep this down and don't show that and definitely hide that and show this really big because people like this part. I learned how to slice and dice myself so that I could be good, so that I could fit in. This was really important. And the underlying message of that was that love is conditional. That I get love conditional upon, if I'm not saying that well, conditionally according to if I'm good, if I'm who the world wants and expects me to be. Well, inside, I wasn't those things. So it became hard. Then, 5th grade, came time to pick the musical instrument that we were going to play. I came from a big Catholic family, and we very, very musical family. Well, I picked the flute, which really means I'm gay. I remember my mom saying, "Don't you want to play the trombone?" And I was like, "I'm not being the oomp of anyone's pa. I'm not playing that one." So I played the flute, and I was horribly picked on, and I was made fun of, and it was horrible for me. I didn't know it would be that bad. So I switched to the oboe, which means I'm really gay. But after a while, I got out of that instrument because the reeds are really expensive. So I convinced my mom that I shouldn't be playing that. So I switched to the French horn, which was so damn confusing to everyone. No one knows what to think about anyone who plays the French horn. So I slid through the rest on that. But the message, the point was that I'm not lovable, that there's something really wrong with me. So I'm not lovable. And then I spent years following proving that. You see, that's what the mind does. When you have a belief, a thought about yourself, the mind looks for proof to say, well, of course this is true. So in my case, it proved that I'm not lovable. There's something wrong with me. Well, I got into my 20s and graduated college and went to Chicago to embark upon my new career and go down that wonderful path. But life took me down a different path called addiction, which doesn't lead you to a good career, by the way. You can't build a good career and be a really good addict at the same time. At least I couldn't. So that path really was a very intense path of saying, I'm not lovable. I don't even deserve to be here. I don't even deserve to be here. I had spent a lifetime not knowing I was doing this, building these walls and these defenses to keep people out because it was too dangerous. And your theme is beautiful. It's all about love this month. But for me, I didn't know what the heck that was. For me, that left me out of the equation. So it was a very painful beginning. But then one morning, and I don't know that it said it exactly this way, but it really was the message of a little part inside of me said, I am love. That's what they teach here. It's a great idea, by the way. I am love. And suddenly, for a moment at least, there were two choices. Suddenly, I am love, I am unlovable. Now, it would have been a much different story had I am loved prevailed forevermore, and I just walked down that path, but it didn't. It gave me the choice, and then I moved into many years of toggling back and forth. You ever do that? Today I'm lovable. Today I'm not lovable. Well, I don't go by the time. Sometimes I go, this minute I'm lovable. The next minute I'm not lovable. So I spent a lot of time in the angst and in the tension of knowing that this is true about me, but not experiencing it in my life yet, or getting glimmers of it and then running and hiding. A lot of it. And that's a beautiful journey. That's the journey we're on. I saw a bumper sticker this morning, and the woman who has it came up to me. It's hers, which is so fun. I was in the parking lot, and it said, I think I wrote it down. Life's the school, love's the lesson. Life is the school, love is the lesson. It makes total sense. We are here to learn love. We're here to realize that we are love. But for many of us, because we wanted to have a really good school experience, we set it up so that we didn't know ourselves as that, so that when you finally did embark upon knowing and proving that, that became so unshakable. Something you prove inside your own self becomes forever yours, and the whole world can scream and shout that that's not true. But for you, it just sits as a solid, quiet knowing that is so beautiful. This is the game we're on. But the question becomes, what is love? You see, A Course in Miracles says love is way too big to even define. Like, don't even bother trying to define what love is. But the Course says, however, remove all the barriers to love, and then love will be. So our work, I had all these walls built up. I had all these stories. This thing is bugging me. Just slide that back a little bit. I keep bumping into it. So our work becomes to take the walls down and to let the stories dissolve and to become free so that we can experience what it is. I was in India a couple years ago at a particular ashram, and we had a whole day of teaching and classes and meditation and practice. And in India, there's something so beautiful at the place where I was, because they're so clear that your inner world and your inner thinking is a very true reality. And so is this world of form, but one's not better than the other. You see, in the Western world, the world of form is the real deal. And your thoughts and your imagination, those are nothing. But in India, where I was, they're so alive. We would go on shamanic journeys that were so unbelievable and real that you'd come back and you didn't know everything. It's just so profound. It was such a beautiful thing. So I'm there in one of the teachings, and the monk, the brother who is teaching, is telling a story about his divine appears to him in the room as someone else. Well, I thought, I want that. If he can have that, I can have that. So I go back to my room that night, and I sit down in my chair. I'm like, okay, divine, show up in this room right here. And I'm sitting there looking at the corner, and I hear inside of me, I'm not doing that for you. I was like, what? And I literally was like, I'm not doing that for you. It's not what you need this lifetime. And if I do that for you, it will always become about that. And then you're going to have to prove that everywhere you go. And then people are going to think you're crazy, and they think that enough already. So let's not go into that game. And then I got, but I will show you this. And I closed my eyes, and this is a true experience. I closed my eyes, and suddenly, from my toes up to my head, I became a ball of love. I became the love that I am. And it was light, and it was bright. I literally feel like my body dissolved, and I just was this white light. And I was sobbing. I was just sobbing. And all I was saying was, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's the only words I had were thank you. As this vibration, which truly cannot be explained, was flowing through me for about 15 or 20 minutes. And when it finally ended, I just was a puddle of tears and gratitude. And I don't know if that moment will ever come back. I don't know if I'll ever experience that kind of a flow. I hope so. Between me and you, it was better than any drug I ever did. But I know without a doubt that I am that. So I really am a changed man. Because no one can tell me otherwise. I can't tell me otherwise. No matter how goofy I get, no matter how much in fear I get, no matter how many times I may choose still to say mean things or to feel mean things or to repeat old stories or whatever happens, it never can be greater than the truth of who I am. I don't have to be better. I don't have to be 1 ounce better than who I am. And as a matter of fact, I can't. Even the trying is a joke. So every desire that comes through me, some I choose, some I don't. Chocolate cake, ice cream, whatever. Sometimes it comes through, sometimes I choose it. And sometimes I don't. But it doesn't matter to the knowingness of who I am. And this is what everyone deserves to know and be. And the bridge, a bridge that can accelerate your knowing of this, is forgiveness. Forgiveness is a way. And for me in my life, it's no longer I pray and I meditate every day and then I do that forgiveness thing once in a while. Today, it is a daily practice. I pray, I meditate, and I practice forgiveness. And the reason I need to practice forgiveness is because every day I go out into the world and I bump into people like you. Sorry. That's what happens to us, right? If there weren't so many people, it might be easier. But there's so many of us around bumping into each other, rubbing each other, pushing each other's buttons, causing us to forget that we're one. Projecting the unowned parts that we're not ready to see onto the other person and going, look, that's the person who's the crazy one. Don't look at me, look over there. We can project. You can project a part of you that you don't want to see to such an extent that you will actually be shocked to see where you will actually be like, there's no part of me that is that. Well, that's funny because you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are. Isn't that odd? We attract who we are. But when we do that with no judgment, see, prior to no judgment, I attract who I am becomes a curse and a punishment in a way that you don't feel good about yourself. That has been dissolved from me. Mostly. Almost always. So now I attract who I am, and that's just what's happening. Guess what? So's everybody else. I'm not special because I attract who I am. I'm just more interested in seeing and owning and knowing the parts so that I can kind of change the ones that could be vibrating at a higher level. That's all. So forgiveness, I have found, is a fantastic way to do it. And I talked about this last time, so if you were here, there's some repeat. But I want to go over a little bit about this because people don't understand what forgiveness is. Forgiveness, first and foremost, is not something that you do. It is a mystical practice. You don't know how forgiveness happens and the mind is healed and the heart is restored and the past is dissolved. You don't know how those things happen any more than you actually know how the heart knows how to beat and the blood knows how to flow and the body breathes and the planets stay and stars stay in place. There's something brilliant that you can lean into and depend upon. But give up ever thinking, I have to forgive. I have to figure out how to make this happen. I have to set them free. No, you don't. Just give up quickly. Say, I can't. You can't solve the problem at the level of the problem. And if you think you have a problem, that's your problem. So don't try. Don't try. So what can you do? You can ask that forgiveness be done. That's all you have to do. Think about it. If you're in a ditch 30 feet down, You can blame yourself and curse yourself, and I got to get out of here all day long. But it sure would be nice if someone came by with a rope and helped, wouldn't it? Forgiveness is the rope that drops down and pulls you out. And the ditch is just the believing that you are your stories, or that the people in the past did something to you, or that you're a victim, or holding on to the hurt. All those things that we do in our humanness, they keep throwing us back down in the ditch. Forgiveness is the rope that gets thrown down and somehow lifts us up and places us on a higher ground. All you have to do is ask for that to be done in a particular situation in your life, especially if there's something churning on your mind. Ask that forgiveness set you free. Then you have one other part. You allow it to be done. This is harder. It's harder because really what it requires is no more retelling your story for the purpose of victimizing yourself or taking hostages. Do you know what I mean? When you want to tell your painful victim story and you want a few friends to join you in that so they can agree how pathetic you are. I mean, if you're going to be pathetic, don't do it alone, right? No rehashing the story. Now, there's a couple exceptions. One, let me finish this. So no rehashing the story. If the story comes up in your mind, which it will, don't make yourself wrong, you forgive it. Oh, this is a call for forgiveness. That's all it is. The story is saying, oh, activate forgiveness. So whenever it comes in my mind, oh, there's the story, forgiveness now, free me from the story. You just activate it, and you don't talk about it to the best of your ability. Don't talk about it. Let the story fade. Let forgiveness lift you into a new vibration. Now, there are sometimes exceptions. Sometimes, if you're ready to give up the story, but the story won't give you up, it has something that it wants. It needs to be fully expressed. And very often, people want to bypass. You lovely, nice people, you don't want to feel, you don't want to look bad, and you don't want to cause any waves. And having your feelings doesn't always do that. So you've been trained very well to be nice and shove it down. Some of your stories are not going to pass by shoving them down or saying nice platitudes of prayers. Some of your prayers are going to cause your story to come up right into the middle of your gut and say, you're not letting me go until you express me. And if the pain and the hurt was this big, then make the expression this big. But stop trying to bypass or trying to get by with only feeling 10% of it. It's not how you're wired. You're wired to let something flow through you. And sometimes it needs all of you to make that happen. So, if the story's not letting you go, don't make yourself wrong. Just realize I need to call my therapist. I need to sit with a practitioner. I need to sit with a good friend, and I need to say, I need to tell this story. And I need to get into it. And I need to be the full victim of it. And if I'm going to cry and snot's going to run out of my nose and I'm going to do whatever, I'm going to scream, just hold the place for me. And when you fully match the energy of what occurred, you will be free. I love my household because we practice this, my husband and I. If he's having a feeling or an emotion, my job is, if I'm available, go, have it, make it bigger, make it bigger, make it bigger, tell me more, scream, get it out. See, I didn't come from a family like that. I'll never forget this. I was on the phone with my dad, and we're talking, and this is just a couple years ago. And finally, I was like bringing the phone call to an end. He goes, well, wait a minute. I go, oh, what? He goes, don't you know I'm mad at you? I was like, no. How could I know? Your heart rate didn't even go up. I had no clue that he was upset with me. And he literally was like, I'm upset with you. Well, I'm not a mind reader. and I'm getting nothing. It was fascinating. And he was upset with this email exchange that happened between my siblings that was misunderstood. That's all it was. But he literally was mad at me, and I didn't even know. Now, in my screwed up family, the way you know someone's mad at you is that your sister or your brother tells you, right? That's how it works. You know mom's mad at you? Yeah, Renee told me. So I've been trained very well not to have feelings. But the healing is in having them in a healthy way where you're witnessed and where the intention is to move through them. Breath work, body work, lots of things to help you with that kind of stuff. It's freeing. The only other time you can tell your story past this, which is what I'm doing here, there comes a point where you tell your stories only in service to uplift and help another. So if you're in a 12-step room, that makes sense to you. Sometimes you tell your story when it's in service to another. But otherwise, through the practice of forgiveness, we give up our storytelling. And we decide that it's time to stop that victimizing of ourselves, to stop repeating it, and forgiveness becomes activated. And forgiveness will change you. Somehow your mind will be reformed, and all the grooves that have been made in the brain that become deeply wound around the stories about your life, they will be filled by forgiveness. Rocks and sand and shovelfuls of love will be put in to fill those grooves. And new grooves will be made in your brain for positivity and for love. Your brain will be rewired so that you don't have to be the victim of those deep grooves of suffering. Forgiveness fills them and creates brand new ones. Forgiveness elevates your vibration, not so you're happy running down the street, happy, joyous all the time. I mean, if you do, great. That's not me. I am joy, but I have other expressions of it. But it lifts you into a vibration of freedom where you just feel good to be who you are. And you're not rehashing the past, and you're not fearing the future. So the present moment becomes very lovely. That's what forgiveness does. It brings you to the present moment, and your mind isn't cluttered. And when your mind's cluttered, rehashing the past, all it's saying to you really at the deepest level is, you got to get these out of here. Get this out of here so that you can be who you're here to be and give to the world what you're here to give. Forgiveness does this. And this afternoon in this workshop, if you come, I will show you the different ways and different access points to use this and make this a regular practice. So before we move into prayer, I do want to tell you about this new program that I've started called the Global Pride Summit. It is a free online conference. It means everyone gets to go wherever they are in your house. It's online. June 1 through 5 for the LGBT and A allies world. And it's all for the upliftment and celebration of the LGBT world. We're in a really big civil rights movement. My purpose and my new ministry is to help LGBT people feel amazing, because I love myself. I love myself as a gay man. And I wouldn't change it if you gave me a magic wand. I love you, girlfriends, but I don't want anything else to do with you. I'll do your hair, and we'll go to coffee. That's it. But I love me, and I want every LGBT person on the planet to say that. That's what my ministry is about. And so this conference is in service to that. So I've got sign-up sheets if you just want to know about it. We launched the website this Thursday, February 26th. Please, everyone, sign my sign-up sheets, especially you allies, you beautiful straight people. You have no idea how important you are for this civil rights movement. You have no idea how healing your presence is. Every time it's no big deal to you if someone's gay or bisexual or lesbian or transgender, every time it's fine with you, a part of their soul is healed and you don't even know it because it's so easy for you. You allies, some people aren't allies, but for those of you in this room, and I know this center is an ally center, You are making a difference. So don't minimize who you are. Thank you. Thank you, allies, for loving us and for not caring, and in the most loving way if we're homosexual. For not caring and for loving us as who we are. That's a big deal. So I ask for your participation too. And then once you sign up, we'll send you an email on Thursday. Sign up for the conference. Come or don't come, I don't care. Just put your name on it. And then pass it to the people you know. There's got to be 5 to 10 LGBT people you know that you can say, hey, I'm going to this. I signed up for this, and I'd love for you to sign up too. And we can create a huge wave of love across the world just by this experience. So thank you for letting me have a little commercial for that, and thank you for considering joining me to be a part of that. Yes? Awesome. Take a deep breath. Let's pray. Let's pray. Invite the choir to come up. And I'm going to invite our practitioners and ministers to come up too, if you would, and just spread out across the front here. All you practitioners and ministers. And give yourself room, spread out. Give yourself arm's length. You can go down to the other side of the stairs too. Spread out down there. You need room between you. We're going to do something different here today that I'm very passionate about. These beautiful beings have studied and given so much of their time and love to serve you. So during this prayer time, anytime, if you really want to take a stand for your forgiveness, come up here, take their hand, and just say, pray for my forgiveness. And they will speak the word for you. They're just a minute of speaking the truth for you. Let this moment be yours. Take their hand and say, help me. And it shall be done. It shall be done for you. All you have to do is ask. Take a deep breath.
Tired of the pain, it brings me shame. Now is the time for me to let go the pain, my past behind me. I see anew. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change.
And in this moment, I speak the word of God as a vibration of perfect love. knowing that I am that love, knowing that there is that spirit of life, that I am, was, and always will be, that never knows any harm, injury, or past. It only knows itself as the perfect presence that I am. And as I know this to be true about myself, I know that this is true about each and every one of us. We gather in the agreement that we are the beloved in whom God is well pleased, expressed, and joyously being. And inside of this knowing, I activate the power of forgiveness simply and profoundly to return us to this deep knowing that we may now and forevermore live as our full, vibrant light that we have come here to be. Forgiveness, cut the chains to the past, free us from the stories of persecution and victimhood, set every person free that we have projected upon them our own woundedness. Help us to see the innocence of those that operated in fear. We lift our eyes up into the heavens. We look upward into where the love resides within us, and we call upon it. We say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They know not what they do when they are consumed by fear. We know not what we do when we are consumed by fear. But forgiveness set us free. Set us free this day, that the Holy Spirit, the whole Spirit of God, may know itself, and we may walk out of this room transformed, awakened to a greater revelation of who we are. Yes, 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 forgiveness set us free. We activate it and we ask for all the blessings, all the miracles that are ours. We claim them today. So grateful for the fulfillment of this word. Forgiveness set us free. Sing along. I forgive me.
Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change.
Stand up and sing it again. Come on, sing it.
I forgive
Me. Stand up, sing it. I forgive me. I forgive me.
everything that I've been holding on to.
I let it go.
I surrender.
Let it go.
I surrender.
Woo! Yes.
I'm ready for my change.
Receive it. Receive it.
I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change.
It is with great gratitude that I release this prayer now, knowing that it is done. We release this into the law that only says yes. Yes, we are free. Yes, the change has occurred. Yes, yes, yes. And with great gratitude together, we say, and so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.
Now, this was a powerful service, wasn't it? Very powerful. Marc Anthony Lord is now in the lobby, so if you have a story or experience you want to share with him, he would love to hear it. And if you didn't hear the email address or the website address, it is on his table, so you can find it there. And do join him at 1:30 to spend a few more hours in that powerful presence that Marc Anthony is. So I ask our ushers to come forward. And as they're doing that, I simply want to shout out to the folks who watch us on live stream. We are joined by several hundred people each week that are watching us from all over the country on live stream, and then it's later replayed in our archives. So if you know someone who would enjoy this service, tell them they can watch it online all throughout the week. So now I ask you to bring out your financial support for the center and hold it in your hand, or hold your hand to your heart. And we'll enter into prayer one more time, joining our hearts and minds together in the one life, in the connection of the love that is in this room. For we know that we each are on our own perfect spiritual journey, and yet we need each other. We need community to see us, to witness us, to say, yes, I see you, and I agree with your truth, and to feel that in return. And so we have this beautiful center, a center of spiritual living. Each of us who have found our way here have a sense of having come home. And yet we also know that there are many people still seeking what we have found. And so we keep our doors wide open and welcome for each new one that finds their way here to love and to learn and to grow together. And so in the truth of this goodness moving through each of us and moving through this community, I say yea and amen, and know its truth by saying, and so it is.
One love, one heart.